Have a baby, they said.
It began quietly, just a whisper in Barbara's heart, a feeling that something was beginning before anything even showed. It wasn't just her anymore.
Gooey. It's so gooey. No.
There was a life inside her, a tiny soul. Okay, they think I'm having a baby.
How about awful baby?
IVF, miscarriage, baby death, and adopt. No, that's the end. Hey!
Welcome to Flawed Femmes.
Woohoo! So today's
kind of a rough one.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did trigger warnings, which we don't, we'd have to put one on here.
Yeah. So today is going to be Barbara's baby journey.
Yeah.
It's all about love was never lost.
She's trying.
It just took the long way home.
It did. It just took the long way. The long, hard way.
11 years.
11 years.
Go.
Let's go. We're going to do it.
I can't even. It just took the long way, Molly.
It did. Today we're talking about the long road of birth. Birth is...
Well, no.
No,
actually, we're not talking about that. We're talking about babies.
No. Well, maybe.
Well, kind
families. Making families. Making
love.
Holes in our bodies.
Okay, that sounds real. Another hole. 1, 2.
I was talking about the
3,
shots.
4, 5, 6, 7. Huh?
I was talking about the shots.
Okay,
That's like
I was counting the holes in one's body.
No one wants to know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Are you counting
6?
Nostrils separately?
Yeah.
I figured. Okay, let's never talk about this again. Let's talk about conception. Babies. Barbara is going to talk about her story. I feel pretty straightforward.
She's pretty resistant about sharing with you guys. And listen,
it's not that I don't want to. It's just that it's not nearly the journey.
Barbara's I will start my journey, and then you are coming in 2007, whether you like it or not.
It's true. So, I'm going to show up. And my birth story will be happening in there.
Yeah. At the same time.
At the same time. Because that's
interwoven into my life.
Like a braid.
Yeah. Oh. Like a braid. I like that. That was quite lovely. Yeah. So I stroked out in 2002, as you all may or may not remember if you're keeping up with their timelines. In 2004, my husband and I bought a house. It was a very small little house, and I loved it.
And you made it very cute.
It was very
whimsical,
special.
I believe the real estate agent.
She did, and it was
whimsical.
Meant to be a 1-year house.
And then the market went crazy.
But it was actually 11 years, 12. It was a long time.
It was a long time.
Then in 2005, I did a marathon in Hawaii, which if you're going to do a marathon,
do it in Hawaii.
Let's go to Hawaii. I mean, why not? Right. And I convinced some people to go with me. And during that time too, one of my best friends had twins. And so I was lucky enough to be really over there quite a bit when she was raising them. So her husband traveled.
B loves babies. They're so cute.
But here's the thing. I don't love babies. I love babies of people I love, right? I mean, I do enjoy a random baby. I'm like, oh, squish your face. It's not like a deep, I love all of the little kiddos in my life, big time.
I don't necessarily like other people's children.
No.
Especially after one of my kids just kept running into walls with friendships. And then I was like, you know what? All your babies are the worst.
They're
They're trash
lame.
babies.
Trash babies. let's also not coin that term.
Yes, let's not.
Because that implies
Something else. They were garbage pail kids.
God, I loved Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
Who collected those? Everyone did.
Everyone.
I mean, my brother had a 3-ring binder.
Of Garbage Pail Kids?
Yes. Yes, of those
They
special.
were so fun.
So much fun. Here's the thing, you guys.
I really looked forward to new ones coming out.
Who didn't? And oh my gosh, the creativity. I mean, it was pretty amazing. Did you have a Garbage Pail Kid? A Molly Garbage Pail Kid?
I don't remember a Molly. No. Was there a Barbara?
Yeah. Muscular Molly. Oh my God.
Oh, I do remember Muscular Molly.
Muscular Molly.
I do.
Oh my gosh. There's also Moldy Molly.
I have not seen Moldy
which
Molly.
is a loaf of bread that has gone awry.
Green. It's gone green.
It's pretty yucky. And then, okay, so for Barbara, let's see here.
I need to know.
Here it is, as expected. I mean, who's surprised by this? Barfing Barbara.
Barfing Barbara. It kind of looks like you.
Listen. Oh, thanks, Molly. Thanks for that.
It doesn't really look like her.
Well,
It does have dark hair, though.
There's lots of different
Barfin Barbara. Like, it's
Barfin. And then there's also another, I don't know what this is happening here, but it's a Garbage Pail Kid that's Barbara Ella.
It's a spoof on the movie Barbarella with Jane Fonda, which was a sci-fi film.
Is there snot coming out of her nose?
The things to remember about Barbarella is that the little babies eat. They're like little cannibal babies.
What?
And then it's Duran Duran got their name from the villain in Barbarella, which is Dr. Duran Duran.
And down the road we go.
They're dolls. Barbarella, killer dolls. We didn't get off topic at all. It's all about sex. Barbarella, it's all in good fun. I mean, sexist, sadomasochist fun, but...
Okay. At the marathon, I was telling Molly earlier that I went down the rabbit hole. So I went back because I knew that there was this in existence, which was a postcard from Oahu, which is where I was doing my beautiful little marathon. This is from Keiki Beach, the North Shore, in December of 2005. I sent this to my husband, basically just said, to our next adventure, let's have a baby. Our lives will never be the same, but our love will only grow.
How did I miss that said, let's have a baby? The next adventure. Our life may never be but the same, but our love will only grow. So cool.
The thing to know about me is I've always been a double safety kid. So I was always on birth control. And I had never had unprotected sex in
birth
my
control
life.
And condom.
Always. The other thing to know.
So the assumption is that as soon as you let up on this, you're just gonna breathe on him and become pregnant. The first
second any splooge touches my body,
you will immediately conceive.
17 children are going to fall out of my womb. Yes. The other thing is that when you are a stroke survivor, well, in my particular case, because I was on blood thinners the entire time, I had to switch over to an injection called Lexapro because they didn't want any birth defects. So as soon as I started thinking about having a baby in 2005, we went and met with a bunch of specialists
because of all the stroke stuff.
And
as we've mentioned before, pregnancy is a hypercoagulative state.
Correct.
Which means that your blood, you're making a lot of blood, and your blood volume is gonna go up, and you have a higher clotting rate
factor. Yes.
Yep, factor.
And so a lot of the times people with pregnancy will be put on an aspirin or whatever. And so with me, because the majority of people on blood thinners are older people, my local neurologist had never heard of anyone getting pregnant on blood thinners. And a couple other people were like, it's not going to happen. And I was like, WTF.
People are so mean to women sometimes.
All the time.
And dropping something like that, like, oh, actually, you can't ever have a baby. I haven't looked into it at all, but let me just say this. I haven't heard of it.
I'm pretty sure you can't do it, though. I'm pretty sure you can't do it. So then I went and met with a specialist, and all they see is people on blood thinners or that have all of my disorders. So I walked in, I was super nervous, on the edge or whatever.
Prepared to have a breakdown.
I walk in and they're like, oh yeah, you're just going to switch to Lexapro. And I was like, I don't understand. What are you saying? And they're like, yeah, of course you can get pregnant. It's not even a thing. Lovenox. What did I say?
Lexapro.
Okay. Well, that you guys, that comes later on in the exact same story. So Lovenox, which is an injection for me, because I was on such a high dose of blood thinners because I am young, I had to have 2 injections of Lovenox a day. I will post a picture of my delicious looking belly, all of the injections. So I did 2 injections every day.
Because it causes bruising because think about it, it's keeping your blood from clotting. Mm-hmm. So it causes a bruise where you inject.
And they want the injection as opposed to the pill because it has a shorter half-life, it's in and out, and blah, blah, blah.
And it's subcutaneous, so it doesn't pass the uterus barrier,
the womb or whatever. I started doing that twice every day. The first time we tried that month and I did not get pregnant, and it was probably, I don't even know, on my whole journey, if that was one of the hardest moments of this whole journey,
because you've been being so diligent about not having anything touch your ovaries.
Because I have always been a diehard pro-women's choice. I knew that I could never make that choice for myself. I knew if I got pregnant, I'd keep the baby. And so I never wanted to deal with that question. So that's why I was neurotic about it. And then the second month, I was a little less shocked. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Then we went and saw a doctor.
And I gotta tell you, sex gets real fun when you're trying to get pregnant and you're doing all the timing and
it's the best
scheduling,
ever.
Monitoring. It gets to be a real chore.
And there wasn't like as many. I feel like there are more tools to invest in the woman's ovulation and all that stuff. I just was, to use a quote from the past, barebacking this, didn't have any of the tools to kind of get going. So I can remember when we went to my doctor, they said what they would try is IUIs. So basically IUIs is $500 a pop. They spin the sperm that your spouse gives, or the male gives a specimen. They spin it and make it pure. Then they inject you while you're in the office.
Do they inject it into your uterus?
Yep. Yeah. And then you just chill out there for 10 minutes.
Okay. I wonder why making them dizzy makes them more...
Well, because they get rid of any of the impurities. So it's 100% concentrated.
I'm telling you that someday we're going to talk about this book. The book is called Do Less, but there's a part of it that talks about egg wisdom, chapter 2, I believe. And one of the things it describes is the whole process of how the egg accepts sperm or not.
This is just a new thing, but it is just recently come forward that in actuality, it is the woman and the woman's body who makes the choice. It's not these like super strong sperm whatever they want. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Like it that really is. Change of perception. But that is also.
But you want to know what?
Ish.
As soon as the egg is fertilized,
Yes.
she decapitates all the men who didn't make it. She just like murders them.
Of course.
Of course, as you do.
As one
you
does.
do.
As
she
one
murders
does.
them all with a chemical release. And this idea of purifying the sperm is so
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Which does that
When
feed
it's
into
still
everything?
up to the egg, we don't know.
We don't
Maybe
know.
we should get a fertility doctor on that.
Ooh, that would be so
cool.
interesting. That would be really interesting.
So you did the injections.
Yep. So I did the IUI.
How long was that
We
for?
decided that we would do that 10 times.
And how much did it cost each time?
$500 per time.
Okay.
And so during that time, I was going to acupuncture. Mm-hmm. So for 3 or 4 years, I was going to acupuncture. I had a special diet, all of the things.
Right.
All of
and
the things.
you're doing the shots.
Right. I was doing the shots twice a day. 2007, I start nannying for a friend of mine who has a baby, and it's pretty fun. And then I also meet another friend to be Molly. Get really involved in Kylie's life and Molly being pregnant because it's not happening for me.
So I was about 5 months pregnant when we met, and about 20 weeks.
And I jumped in with both feet.
Well, and the whole reason we met is because we were both doing these awful shots.
Right.
So if you heard the Stroke Stories episode, Barbara was doing all these awful shots and had not secured a pregnancy yet. So it's like torture, right? You're going through all of this strict eating and all of these different protocols. We met at a time where it had to have been so discouraging.
So at that point, I think I had probably done, I don't know, about 1,200 shots. Mm-hmm. And I can remember early on, because I was with Molly all the time shopping and getting her room ready and everything like that. And I had just had yet another, because the IUIs, obviously, you don't want to do them every month. You would kind of space it out a little bit. I remember I had just had another something happened and you were about to have your baby shower and you were like, you don't have to come. I wouldn't be upset if you didn't come at all. You had this big long talk with me and I was like, actually it's the opposite. I am in this with both feet. I love it. I want to be a part of everything. So I did get to be a part of that. And so that has been quite lovely in my life, that I was a huge part of Kylie's first years.
And don't forget, my stroke was in 2004. So I had gotten pregnant about 2 years after my stroke.
You were still kind of figuring it out.
Still kind of figuring out.
Yeah.
And the fatigue is just, you're already tired when you're pregnant. And so at that point, I don't know if I could have done it all on my own. I know it would have been really horrible for me if I had been trying to do everything on my own. It was really important for both of us. We had this shared experience because I was pulling into my driveway and just falling asleep in the car. Yeah. Too tired to get out of the car.
It's true.
I was very grateful that I did meet Barbara because I was able to actually have a nursery for the baby. And
it was so much fun. It was such a it was. We were both getting different needs met at that time. It was just a really lovely experience all around. I was super grateful for it as well, as Molly was. Yeah. It just ended up being another couple of years. I did have and I should mention that neither of our families have any money and neither do we. So we were just maxing out credit cards. So in 2009, we live in New Hampshire, which is a state where IVF is not covered. In many other states, it was covered.
Right.
I'm not sure about now with everything that's happening in the world.
Oh,
but back in 2009, at least, it was not covered in New Hampshire. And so we had talked about my husband trying to work at a company that had Massachusetts insurance so that it would be covered because it is $10,000 to try. for one cycle of IVF. So my husband and I decided that we would do it only one time, that we would go ahead and take out the loan against a credit card. And FYI, taking out money on a credit card is such a great idea, you guys. I totally recommend it for everybody. It's basically free. We had actually gone down to my mom's cousin is the director of research at Mass General, which is the big hospital around here. And so I got an appointment with the fertility doctor down there, like the head of the fertility department. And when we were talking with him, we explained everything, and he gave us the whole rigmarole. And then we said, well, if it was you, what would you tell your child, your daughter? And he said, if it was my daughter, I would tell her not to get pregnant, to adopt instead, because the possibility of something going wrong with IVF, with my disorders,
condition,
right, was very high. So it was.
Can you imagine if you had hemorrhage or anything like that?
So there was a lot of issues about having it, and ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome was a huge risk, which is when your ovaries just kind of blow up and get really big. And
I just always picture little ovaries with eyeballs on them, like just being like really red faced and like, I'm so mad.
So mad. Then I let my husband know that even if I died in childbirth, that it would be worth it for me, that all I wanted was baby. I don't know if people have met me, but I am a hot-blooded Italian, and when I make up my mind, I make up my mind. So it was stubborn. It was a done deal. So in 2009, so mind you, this is 4 years of doing 2 shots a day, I decided to do IVF. So IVF is another 4 shots. I was doing probably on average 6 shots a day for 6 months. There's some fun pictures of my husband and I when we went down, and I had 2 viable eggs. So they inserted it. It was very exciting.
What's the whole thing with the follicles?
Follicles?
Follicles. Don't you have to have like a ripe follicle or something? I feel like there was a whole... I don't know if follicles are right.
I think fallopian tube. I might have. Yeah, I mean, my understanding is pretty hit and miss.
Limited.
Yeah.
And I mean, so you had to be ready, and you had to have eggs. You had to do the whole thing. So you got 2 viable.
Yep. I got 2, and they were like, this could be... You could have twins, and we were like, that's okay. You know what I mean? I mean, at that juncture, you're like, all right, 2.
I'll just take what I can get.
Yeah. And then I got pregnant from that. I think we had a baby shower right away. Just me, Molly,
and another stroke buddy. We had a 3-person. Nope, that was a different baby shower.
Oh, that was a different baby.
So that was a different baby.
That was a different baby. Okay.
So this
one, I was pregnant,
and I was pregnant with my second. And so there is one picture of us together, and we're both pregnant.
And I'll show it. And I actually lived with Molly for 2 weeks because my husband was sick, and there was a fear going around about the swine flu. So since I was with child, I lived at Molly's, and so I'm wearing a very cute cherry dress that I borrowed from Molly, and I'm super pregnant and so happy about it. Then we went in, and they're like, wow, you look very
pregnant.
Very. I can remember I took obviously Molly knew right away, and then I took 2 of my other best friends out and had them open a jewelry box with my pregnancy test in it.
So
yada.
So lovely.
And didn't let them see my stomach because I looked 6 months pregnant. As soon as everyone saw that, even out in the world, people would be like, oh my gosh, what are you due? Yeah. And I was like, any day now.
Or in 9 months.
And so if I had really thought about it, if I had detached myself, I would have been like, oh, this is
not right.
This is not, this can't be a good scenario.
And I feel silly for not noticing it either, because I do know someone whose child had genetic disorder and they had so much extra. The fluid in their stomach was so much, and they were much larger than they would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
Because when your body knows something is wrong, it starts trying to create a cushion so that amniotic fluid, took me a second.
Yeah.
So it does. Like, your body does all kinds of miraculous things when something is starting to not
and
work.
there is that aspect too that we can't forget, which is that everyone just wanted happy news.
Wanted it to
just
happen.
happy news.
Yes,
I mean, this was 2009, almost 2010. I had been trying for 4 years. It was just a real rugged time for everybody. So I got pregnant. And then when I went in for my 9-week follow-up, my husband was going to go with me. And I said, no, don't even worry about it.
Bother. We're in it now.
I got it. Thanks. Thanks so much. So I went.
Independent woman.
Independent. So I went to the appointment by myself, and when I walked in, they were like, "Oh my God!
Why are you carrying such a large tummy?"
They brought me in, and they were like, "The baby has no heartbeat. I'm so sorry. Do you need a minute?" Now, again, I'm all about it. So I was like, I started to cry for half a second. And then she was like, do you need a minute? And I was like, no, I'm fine.
No, do it. Fine.
I'm fine.
So
Peace out.
This is something that Barbara and I occasionally will share, which is just complete and utter disassociation. So you just go completely the other way, where you make a decision and then you just go with it, and you assert it's not, you sort of shut down all your feelings, and
you're just like, peace out.
And it's not healthy. So everyone take note that this is not a healthy coping mechanism.
A good thing to kind of take on. And to make matters more lovely, it was my mother's birthday.
Oh, yep. I forgot that
Happy birthday to her. Anyways, I called Matthew, my husband, and said, hey, the baby is
dead.
The baby is dead.
I remember your wording very well.
The baby is dead. Buy a pack of cigarettes and meet me at the house. So, you guys, one of my coping mechanisms has been throughout my life. When I was a youth, my father smoked when I was young. As did I. Yeah. And then I didn't smoke, but I've probably smoked annually for my entire life. Mm-hmm. You know, just you go out, you have some drinks, you end up having a cigarette or whatever. So for me, throughout this journey of baby was the second
something went
awry, I was like, I'll take some cigarettes right now.
You know, and given the scope of the trauma, I feel that, you know, we can't begrudge you having a cigarette each time everything went to shit.
Absolutely. Then my husband and I were like, had a moment. I ended up bleaching my hair.
Oh God, I remember that. It was
bleached.
I was really trying to support you, and I was like, wow, this looks not good on you.
Yeah.
This is not. And then the first time was real bad.
Yeah.
And then you kept going with it.
Yep, I sure did. And every weekend I was drinking a bottle of Moscato with my sister-in-law, and we're going to Victoria's Secrets and Coach and at that juncture, I was already probably, I don't know, $20,000 to $30,000 in debt from this endeavor.
So what's a little more?
So what's $200 at Vicky's?
And I do want to point something out, if you're comfortable with it, which is that if you had not been able to have a DNC with that pregnancy, ending where the fetus was actually dead inside of your body.
Absolutely.
That it could have killed you.
So
a D&C.
Let's take a little backtrack here. We were at, how long ago was that?
It wasn't that long ago. I feel like we were at some kind of women's event.
We were at a women's protest when they were reviewing.
It was in New Hampshire. They were looking at changing a law that had to do with
abortions. Yeah. I was standing there and these speakers were just so powerful, amazing.
Telling these stories about...
And just like so moving. I looked at Molly and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. These
people are so incredible.
Yeah. I can't believe their story.
And then she... And then she says, I wish I had a story that was so compelling that it would make people realize that abortion can save people's lives. And I was just sort of looking at her.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, is she fucking with me? Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure what was happening. But then the people were speaking, and then the next woman who came up referred to it as a DNC. And Barbara's eyes got huge.
I couldn't believe it.
And she looks at me and says, oh my God, Molly, I had an abortion. That's what a DNC is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's the same procedure.
I think that so many people, and you guys, I'm not stupid. I'm not.
Yeah, but they say DNC. They don't say that
never
it's the same
made
thing.
the connection. I never made the connection between abortion and a DNC. No one ever looked at me weird when I went in. It was never a conversation. I just went in and
It was life-saving medicine.
Right. And let's not forget that I was fucking devastated.
Right.
Could barely function. My doctor, my OB at the time was just lovely and everyone was so gracious to me and everything. I can't fathom. I really can't even fathom that at the bottom of that, at my worst point, if I had anyone even look sideways at me.
Right.
Anyone,
if anyone had questioned you or judged you,
I would have,
or said you should let nature take its course, that type of thing. I am so relieved that you did not have to experience that.
Yeah. I can't even imagine it.
So I do think that it is important to note at this moment that it is something that saved your life.
Without a doubt, without even a question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, I was already at 9 weeks. I looked as though I was 6 months pregnant. So therefore, doing that math, I could not continuously had gone that way.
So moving forward, then you had the moment of truth. That was the come to Jesus moment. Are we going to keep doing this?
Are we going to keep doing this?
Are we going to keep torturing your body?
Right. Because what happened was after I lost the baby, I'm pretty, I'm not very emotional, Gail. And I was so fucking devastated. I was just kick me while I just couldn't even. So I was like, listen, let's do this. I have to have a baby at the end of the rainbow. Whatever that looks like, let's make it happen. So we were in talks about becoming a foster to adopt family. We were in the conversations. And at that juncture, one of my friends knew their son's girlfriend, 17 times removed, was pregnant. She was Italian. We looked similar.
That's right. You guys did look similar.
We looked similar and lived in New Jersey. She was addicted to cocaine. There was a question about if she would be able to continue with the pregnancy and did I want to take the baby. Matthew and I, of course, decide, yes, let's do this. We again take out more loans. I fly down, go to New Jersey, meet her, take her to the doctors. I'm sure I provide everything for her. Yeah.
Took her maternity shopping and so on.
And
because then you paid for medical.
Yes.
For her.
Yep. So we not only paid her, but then also paid her medical bills. During this whole time, during her pregnancy, and she was probably, I think, 7 months along already. So even if the baby was premature, it would still be doable. During that time, Molly got to flip over to me, and we decorated. We set up a whole nursery.
I mean, she was far along.
Yeah,
we waited until she was, I think 7 months.
7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8 months.
And so I had everything ready, and his name was Clayton, little baby Clayton. I call him LBC. And so I was pretty excited.
We had a 3-person baby shower, including Barbara. So it was Barbara and 2 of us who had also had stroke.
And it was so lovely. I have one of our other friend gave me a silver Tiffany spoon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which I still have. And then my friend Molly gave me a Sweet Dreams baby Clayton sign. And it's actually in my office at this juncture. I can never get rid of it. It's the most beautiful sign ever. I love it so much. I can't even take it. So I'm at yoga. My plan was to go out with everybody that I knew that weekend, if you remember, Molly, and get shit-faced.
Because you were never getting drunk again.
Exactly. Because I was about to be a mom. So I was like, yep, let's do it. It's this weekend. So she calls. I'm at the yoga studio doing some paperwork I volunteered at the yoga studio. I was going over some paperwork with the owner. They called and were like, okay, it's time to come. It's time to come down. It's happening, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God. So I hung up the phone and I was just hyperventilating. I'm like, okay. I can do this. So I called Matthew and I was like, we got to drive to New Jersey right now. It's happening. Like, can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So I hang up on him. And then I got I don't know if it was a phone call or a text message. I probably should at this juncture. I think it was a text message. Or maybe I had called him and at that point it went to my voicemail and it was a voice message. I can't remember. But 5 minutes later, 10 minutes, not even. No, it was probably 7. We're going to say 7 minutes. I'm going to commit to that. They called and said that he was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck and that he was obviously, didn't make it.
Had deceased. He was deceased.
So I immediately was, is the mom okay? Is everything okay with her? Blah, blah, blah. So I can remember my yoga teacher this is one of her most traumatic moments.
You're like, it just terrorized everyone.
Yeah, immediately just broke down.
A universally terrible moment.
I broke down, hysterically sobbing, not even breath in the room for, I want to say, less than 60 seconds. And then just like that.
Shut it down. Stuff those feelings down deep where nobody can get it.
I'm good. Ain't nobody need nothing.
And then she proceeds to go home and clean out the entire nursery.
The whole
thing packed up.
It was like
everything done.
And my poor husband, now that I'm obviously separated from it or whatever, I just immediately called him and was like, hey, Matthew, the baby's dead. Get some cigarettes and meet me at home. I want every fucking thing that has to do with the baby out of my goddamn house now. And I called Molly and I called a couple other people and was just like, dead baby, get to my house now. And we... Truda cleaned it out. My doctor and nurse came over, and that's where the Lexapro comes into play. Put me on a little Lexapro. And I can remember...
Which is an anti-anxiety related medication. It does. It helps when you're in a trauma.
It just takes you from... I would say a 10 to like a 5. It's not like it makes it numb or go away. You still feel like shit, but you don't feel psychotically like shit. And so, couple funny stories in there.
People worry when you say, yep, I'm done. I'm not feeling this anymore. I'm done. And all evidence is gone. Everything's normal again. Nobody look at me.
Yeah. Nobody look over here. Everything's fine. Fuck your face. Fuck your face. Fun story was I go into TJ Maxx, one of my favorite places.
Go to your church.
Yep. Go to TJ Maxx. To return, I had a...
Oh my gosh, the poor woman.
That's right. I had a sunscreen that goes in your car, right? What is that? $12.99, let's say at the most. Mm-hmm. So I go in with one of my friends who was, because I was on watch, right? All my friends were like,
we were not leaving you alone.
Like we're coming up in different shifts and stuff like that. So I'm in TJ Maxx and this poor girl is probably, I mean, what is she, 20 if she's lucky? And so I'm like, yeah, I need to return this. And she's like, yeah, you don't, do you have the receipt or whatever? And I'm like, no. And she was like, well, what do you have? And I was like, listen, the baby is dead. So I don't need a sunscreen to protect his eyes because he's dead.
Oh my God.
And she was just
your
like,
worst day at work.
It was literally. And she's just like, I don't. And I'm like, I don't want the fucking sunshade. The baby is dead. Who wants a dead baby? What the fuck? Like, come on. And they're like, oh,
so healthy.
Okay. And my friend was like, okay, all right. Let's just move away.
We're just gonna go.
And so I think one of the first times I actually was alone, I went to Target, my other church. I had diapers. Yeah, I had diapers. And yeah, this is when they called the Target police on me. Listen, I'm not proud. I'm not proud. This is what we're saying, why you should express your emotions appropriately.
Shutting them down does not work.
No, because it does eventually come out. Eventually it comes out, right? So I'm just bebopping around. I go into Target with my diapers. I get up to the line and I'm like, yep, I need to return these. And she's like, okay, it'll be for, do you have the receipt? I say no. She says, well, then you have to exchange it for something else in that department.
Oh, no.
And I was like, well, the baby's dead, so I don't need anything in the baby department.
Oh, my God.
And she was like, well, ma'am, I don't. And I was like, listen, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
The fuck out.
Yeah. And mind you, there is a family behind me.
In line, of course.
Because I'm so classy. So fucking classy. And I was just like, I don't understand what the fucking problem is. And she's like, ma'am, please don't swear at me. And so then she waves over the Target police officer. And the Target police officer comes over and he's like, is there a problem here, ma'am? And I'm like, no, I have a dead baby. So I'm just trying to return some fucking diapers.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Oh, you guys, it was real bad. But I live 5 minutes from that Target, right? This was 2009. I knew I was going to be back there a million more times, or 2010. I knew I was going to be there a million more times. So I went back into the Target. I found that woman and I said, listen, I am so sorry. That is not appropriate. That's not how I normally react. I was just so devastated. And she was like, I totally understand. Thank you so much for coming back.
Well,
blah,
it's
blah.
that thing about you don't know what people are going through.
Exactly. And she was phenomenal. And now she still works at this Target. And now every time I go in there, hey, we make eye contact. Like we have that now, and she knows that I know that was not okay. Mm-hmm. And that I was able to apologize and just really kind of makes me feel better as well, because that was, that's not to have the opportunity to go back and actually, unfortunately, of course, I don't know the family that was behind me.
Or the girl in TJ Maxx.
Listen, I mean, it's par for the course.
No, but I mean, you do what you can. And also being able to offer people a little bit of grace is the least that the world can do.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can all take away from that. The grief, we don't know what it's going to do to us.
Yeah, probably. And how it's going to show up from moment to moment.
So little baby Clayton,
LBC.
Peace
out, Cub Scout.
you were not able to start a family with LBC.
And so now we also really don't have any money.
Yeah, now they really don't have any money.
Because we had to keep paying.
It's true.
We had to keep paying her for a while after.
For the medical?
Well, yeah. For all of the medical bills and also her payment, because we had signed a contract for like a certain amount of time. And so we just kept on paying and paying.
And I remember having this conflicting emotion that was, you wanted it to be a lie. Where I remember we were in this space where we were like, maybe she decided to keep the baby and they're just not
I still think that she maybe did.
And that's a gift and a curse, right? Because you think that the best case scenario is that LBC is out there somewhere and actually did survive. But in that case, you would have gotten scammed really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And so,
which, shout out to my OB as well, because when they told me, I called my OB on her cellular telephone. She was in California. And picked up her phone because she was probably like, who is this? Yes. And it was 2009. Picked up her phone and I was like, is there any way that cocaine could have been the reason?
Oh, why the baby was expired.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I wanted to know, which even if it I don't know. Anyways, so I talked with my OB all about it and she was lovely and amazing throughout everything. And then right after that, I did try and get her to remove all of my everything from the inside, and she was like, "No." I'm like, "Just take it all."
Parts.
I'm never gonna have a baby, and I just don't want anything to do with the baby
making equipment anywhere in me.
Oh God! So then, what was left was to become a foster parent, and so that was quite the process as well.
Paper pregnancy. A lot of times folks will refer to it as a paper pregnancy.
And we had to, again, find more loans that we could take out because we had to upgrade our house. So we had to have...
that's right. You needed to have the egress.
So we had to have the egress window. We had to have the upstairs finished. It wasn't finished. So they had to have their own room. We had to... we just did so much. We ended up getting a fence, if you remember. And we put up a stockade fence. It was a super long journey. Then in 2011, we got a little boy who, when he came to us, we always knew he was going to go back.
Right. The intention was to reunify.
Right.
And I mean, we can talk for a second about the foster care program. And I gather it's different in different countries.
Yes. But and it's different from state to state.
Yeah.
And probably different now than it was in 2010.
It has to be. It has to be. And just the heartbreak of having children of all ages and wanting to have a young child and then caring for older children while you're waiting and trying to say but not say, like, oh, I do, we are hoping for, someone we can live with for
You're dancing
years.
around it, but let's go ahead and share the worst story. I feel like I'm just like constantly like looking at like a class act in this one. But that's okay.
But no.
So we were foster to adopt. During that, one of the things that you can do is you can provide respite for other foster families, right? And so when they go on vacation, when they go on, for weekends or holidays or whatever, you can take their kiddos and take care of them. So we had a 13-year-old girl. She came to stay with us for probably 3 days. The first day, and I pick her up and she came, and the poor pumpkin had so much trauma.
She was in really rough shape.
She was having accidents, and at 13, and
not accidents meaning incontinent or wetting the bed, doing, having bowel movements.
And it was just, all this, and it
really
was
combative.
Poor sweetheart.
And you have 3 days. And how helpless are you in those 3 days?
Right.
And this is not exactly what you signed up for, but you're hoping to be helpful.
Absolutely. Of course. And provide a safe place, because, I mean, everyone's heard horror stories. And
right.
So
exactly.
let's provide a good opportunity. In this situation, the male in the picture had abused her, and the mother blamed her. And so it was kind of
just like the worst fucking possible
literally
thing.
The worst thing ever. Like, why would he want you when he could have me?
Oh my God, gross.
The worst.
I mean, so this child comes
that's
to you
ever been
is in
said.
Serious trauma.
It was awful.
Not, again, like I said, not what you had pictured your journey being like. And this was supposed to be just a short thing that you were doing, kind of just as a nice aspect.
Right. And we were having a nice time and everything. And at one point she was just like, I just want to stay with you guys. I just want to stay with you guys forever. Like, I don't want to go back to any other foster. Like, you guys are so amazing. And I was like, oh, well, we want a baby, but thanks, honey. Like, something like that, right?
Something that in retrospect, you're like, wow, I said the most horrible thing.
Horrible thing ever. So I go to bed.
God, we're so dumb when we're younger.
I might have called you.
Yeah,
even that
I remember
night,
talking about
and been
it
like,
with you.
oh my God, I said the worst fucking thing ever that I've ever said. And so the next morning, and this is where we get to have grace, right? This is where we learn. And she came down in the morning, and I said, oh my God, I have to talk to you. I'm so sorry. Yesterday, and she was like, what are you even talking about? Now, whether that was genuine or just her defenses, it's neither here nor there. But I was like, some of my trauma has come out onto you. You're amazing, and you're wonderful, and you're going to have.
And grown-ups have issues too.
Yeah.
And
yep. Absolutely. I'm so sorry that I said that to you. That is, of course, we haven't been able to have a baby of our own. And so that's kind of what was happening for me.
That's where I was speaking from. And I failed to think about you and the impact that it would have.
And of course she was like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, that's totally fine. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That is definitely one of those times that I'm hoping what has stayed with her is not that horrible fucking comment, but in fact, the reality that here I am as an adult being like, I fucked up bad. I'm so sorry. But,
sometimes in the middle of the night, you can still think about it and torment yourself with it.
Sure can, because why would I want to get a full 8 hours of sleep when I could think about something that I did in 2010 to ruin lives?
I have a few I keep special to myself also.
Just in our back pocket.
Just in your back pocket.
In your back
when
pocket
you're having
to be
too
like,
good of a day.
When you're having too good of a day, take it down a notch, you motherfucker.
Remember when I told that 13-year-old that I wanted a baby? And
not her.
Yeah. But that is also part of the system. And I think, as a species, we're just shying away from those hard conversations that need to happen around the foster program and adoption. And, like I said, I've heard now, as I've had friends who've adopted in different countries and things like that the experience can be less traumatic on the children that are involved. And we should look closely at that. Yeah. But then we're on to the next next little man.
Yep, the little guy. So he came to us when he was 9 months old, and we knew that he was going to be reunified. So that's the number one goal of foster care is reunification with the birth parents or immediate family. So in this case, if his birth mother or birth father couldn't get it together,
then the grandparents.
Then we knew that there was an aunt ready. Ready to take him at any juncture. So he came, he was a boy.
Cutie.
Just a cute, you want to squish his little face. And he was blonde hair,
very
blue-eyed.
sturdy.
Oh my gosh, just so much fun. My husband immediately fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Like hardcore. Mm-hmm. So then right before his year birthday, which we had, of course, a huge birthday party. For him. So right before his year birthday, we got a phone call that said, "Hey, do you want a girl?" And I was like, I've always wanted a girl. I'm very girly, so that's 100%. And they said, we have this little girl who is up for adoption because there has been no contact for 6 months. So once there's been no contact in any way after they've tried for 6 months, then she becomes a ward of the state. And so this was Thursday or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
I would like to
please. I'm raising my hand. Yes, please. So then I went and met her that Friday. Then she was slated to come on Monday. So they dropped her off on Monday. This baby was literally, and she was 14 months old. Her and the little boy child looked identical.
They did look like twins.
They looked like really twins.
Bizarre.
Which I actually decided to just go with. And so unless you knew me, they were twins. This little baby screamed.
The whole time. And she was smaller too, even though she was 14 months.
Correct.
Because her health had not been good at birth. She was very
And she
small.
didn't walk or do anything. And so...
Yeah, her muscle tone was underdeveloped.
So Monday, she screams, all while being awake. Now, when she goes to sleep, she does sleep for, 7 hours, probably because she's fucking exhausted from screaming bloody murder. Meanwhile, the little boy is probably looking at me and my husband like, WTF.
I've had this.
Everything was amazing. We had 3 months of just complete bliss, and now you're going to drop this shit in front of me. What's happening? So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I called and was like, listen, either you get someone here on Thursday, because she had court on Friday, and so did the little boy had court on Monday. So we're like, we can do this. We can hang on.
So now you have two babies. Two.
Yep.
In a tiny house.
And
one is possibly going back for reunification.
And so I'm thinking on Monday, when he goes to court, he's going to go back with the family.
He's going to reunify.
And so on Friday, I'm like, she'll become ours, but like, we gotta figure something out. Like, I can't do this. And so they came, community partners.
And if you don't know, adoption, the situation is you have to make the decision on the phone. You don't have time to ruminate.
No.
You take the child right then, or you miss the opportunity.
Correct.
Or it's like there wasn't any wiggle room.
No. Community partners comes on Thursday morning. And the thing about this kiddo is that she only wants to be with me, but doesn't touch me, right? So
I remember that.
She would sit on me and scream bloody murder, but wouldn't hold me or anything like that. But like the second I'd try and put her away from me or on the ground, she would just lose her mind. And so finally the community partners came, and she was 14 months old, and she tested at like, I think 7 or 8 months old.
Yeah.
For all of the things. The community partners woman was playing with a doll. And mind you, she had never reached for anything. I mean, we're talking Thursday. She came on Monday morning. So on Thursday, she reaches out towards a doll. And I immediately burst out crying. And I'm just like, there's hope. Everything's going to be okay. Friday, we go into court and the judge is like, yep, all set. No contact. She's all yours. We were walking out of the courtroom and in walked the birth mother. And she was like, yep, I'll take my kid. Even though court had already happened and she was 14 months old. They reversed it and we ended up adopting her when she was 3.5.
So there was a long process to end up
super long. And on the following Monday, when he went to court, the judge was like, "These are the best foster. This is the best foster family. He's staying there for 3 more months." And I was like, "Motherfucker!"
So your family went from no babies to twin babies under 2.
Twin babies.
Basically overnight. And it was exhausting.
It was for real.
It was exhausting. For real. And that overlap period where you had both little ones.
Yeah.
That was, and then having the little girl be so exhausted and
you know, here's the thing about me is that I don't do anything half-assed. And so
you were amazing twin mom.
Everything happened. I took them to the museum. I took them to the kinder music. I took them to swimming. I took them to
baby yoga,
I just was never at home with them. I mean, yes, of course we'd be at home, but like we would leave numerous times every day, and I can remember for that whole
babies
time.
Have so much shit,
so much. No comprehension of how a single mother does it with 2 children, twins. I mean, this is why I went and stayed with my friend for so long when her husband was gone because it was so difficult.
She had the twins.
Check. It was just a nonstop 6 months of taking care of everything.
It was actually like nonstop 8 years.
I know, right?
It was a long time. God. You know, 2007, 2000, what? 5, 4?
So it started in 2005, and
your adoption was final
in 2013.
In 2013,
yeah. So it was a hot minute.
10 years.
It was a hot minute or so, guys. And it was the little boy did get reunified with his auntie, which I knew was going to happen. And he left on a Friday morning and they were pulling out of my driveway. I saw them pull out of my driveway as my phone rang and I answered it. And it was the social worker. And she said, the girl's birth mom has given birth. Will you take that child? And I was like, so the little boy is just pulling. Just pulling out the driveway. I don't know. And they're like, well, if you don't take him, I don't know if you'll be able to keep her. And I was like,
my gosh. But also, keep in mind that Barbara has also had a massive stroke, much worse than my stroke. So the level of exhaustion is completely different than someone who doesn't have a disability. Not that it's not terrible.
Not that it's not still present. You're right. Exactly.
But that there is an additional layer to the dedication that it took to care appropriately for 2 children, 2 infants.
Yeah, my sister-in-law likes to call for that 6 months. She likes to call me a pincushion because I just was covered in bruises everywhere. My blood levels were off the charts. I got the flu twice in 6 months, 104 fever. The amount of stress from nothing to something, even though of course part of it was amazing stress, right? Part of it is so happy. Like I wanted to be a mom more than anything. And so absolutely. But stress is stress.
It's true.
It's
so
stress.
then to go through that whole process and then have another heart-wrenching decision about whether or not to take the half sibling and to possibly lose the child that you were caring for.
And that weekend, Molly and her spouse and a couple other people got to write letters because that's how I deal with things is I will over-prepare. So I had everyone write letters about how I had to keep this little girl. She became a different baby.
Oh, without a second.
She went to bed Friday, slept all night long in her didn't miss him for a second. Woke up the following morning and I was like, are you kidding me?
What baby is this?
Was just like, here I am, like I'm ready to go. During that time, it was just crystal clear that she was meant to be an only child. We declined taking the sibling who at that point, we had no idea. He was a brand new baby, born addicted. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm happy to report that he is a highly functioning, amazing little child. And we're so blessed to have a very good connection with the family, and they get together a couple times every year. So on March 14th, 2013, the little girl became my daughter. It was like the best day of my life. My official gotcha day for her. My daughter has known always that she was adopted. We have an adoption book that we look through. I printed out a bunch of pictures of the birth mother from Facebook. She knows who her birth mother is. The birth family and us live in the same area. It's a closed adoption, but with social media,
adoption.
Yeah. With social media and all that jazz, you can only be so secluded. And I think that at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is that my daughter has had an amazing life. I mean, far better than me or you.
Yes,
and
it's true. I know our children are so spoiled,
super blessed, and yes,
we're like, you have everything blessed. And love. What is your problem?
Absolutely.
It's easy to look away, and it's easy to keep behind closed doors. It's easy to not talk about, or easier in some ways to not talk about or acknowledge. But it's a common experience,
absolutely,
for women to, miscarry, women to lose pregnancies, women to, and I don't want to devalue the male experience, but I do just want to speak to that female experience that is in some ways so visceral and tactile because it's your body that is the kind of proving ground. And then to add to that, the additional process of going through the ups and downs of adoption, which is its own hell. And I mean, we have talked about how going back in time, do you feel like you gave enough support to your spouse? Like that?
100% no.
And so there is some things that I think looking back, we don't get to pick how we grieve.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I think that today we can embrace families of all kinds and understand that it's a journey to make your family, no matter what it looks like.
You're not going to do it, are you?
What?
You're spent. I will not talk about my birth stories.
Well, I just think we're about an hour and a half in.
Oh my God. Well, hopefully you've walked away with.
Well, I think that when we walk away from hard stories, you see that the human experience is a common experience.
Fuck up sometimes.
We all fuck up. Even if we're not being graceful, if we're slogging through it, that is one more step in the right direction. That you're getting up every day and you're walking towards a future that you don't know yet. You don't know what it looks like. We can't time travel and know how things are working out.
And you're being a fucking fabulous
flawed femme.
I mean, that just worked out perfect.
Thank goodness.